first and foremost, right, let's talk about why you're here, right? You have taken the time to spend with me on this program, to spend with us. Why are you here? It's just to realize and recognize that aspect of why is this subject important to me? Well, first and foremost, you're a law firm owner and you probably don't know what your exit or succession plan will be, right? That's kind of an overall aspect. Maybe you have worked through one, you've got pieces, but you really don't know what that is. And you own a law firm or you own a law practice. You run a law practice within your own firm. You're kind of looking, what is succession, exit, sale? How does this work? You know it's time, but you have questions, right? You know it's time, but you have unanswered questions, information needed. Give me this information so that I can be empowered to move forward, right? Very common, especially for us attorneys. We like knowledge. We want to absorb that. The other aspect is selling, and this is something we hear all the time, exiting, succession planning, retirement planning, right? Seems like a difficult and a confusing process. And you're really just not sure where to start. Where do I begin, right? How do I make sure that I can complete this? But where do I start? What are the steps to do that? And overall, and maybe one of the important parts, and this is why I love the fact that so many have showed up today to participate in this, I know you are busy. You're a busy attorney helping clients. You're a busy law firm owner managing your law firm, right? Every time and moment that you have would probably be consumed by that law firm. You could give it everything. And so finding time to carve out for your exit plan, your succession plan is a challenge. But overall, it's one of those things of why you're here today. And lastly, change is scary. You may know me, right? We may have talked sometime in the past, anything else, or you may not. You're like, who is this talking head? Well, my name is Tom Feisty. I'm an attorney, a CPA, and an accredited business intermediary. I've been in private practice for years, for decades. Transactional lawyer. I've had law firms. I've run law firms. I even am still a partner in a law firm that I have a succession plan for. But overall, about 10 years ago, I founded the Law Practice Exchange. And over the last decade, I've been working with thousands of lawyers in the US, some in Canada and Europe, to help create and guide these lawyers and law firms through valuation, deal structuring, and sales, helping the owners, helping the buyers, helping those in between bring together the continuation strategies, preserving value as we do so. And overall, I've helped complete transactions with over 150 million in law firm revenues transferred, right? 150 million preserved and moved on to the next generation, hopefully monetized in that process. And really what I do on a day-to-day basis, I help lawyers like you find the right option and the right strategies for your firm. That's what I do. That's my goal in this law practice exchange world, is to help you find the right strategy and the right option to accomplish that. And look, something I'm extremely proud of is you would be hard pressed to find another like me in this world with more experience, more expertise. It's a niche. I get it. But try to find somebody, and I'm proud of the experience that I've built and that we've helped preserve these legacies for the last decades. And I'm here to share that experience and expertise with you today. And the first thing I want you to consider is your legacy. And when you talk about your legacy, you're really talking about the personal reputation, that brand that for lawyers is so important, right? For us as ethical attorneys, as expert attorneys, everything else that we build up over a career, that's preserved going forward, that our firm has that strong brand. That's what we hold ourselves to, right? As a profession, as individuals, anything else. Well, if you don't have a plan, that legacy, that last moment, right, will be disaster. It will be something that you will lose versus have a continuation of your firm. And so I really want you to think through for your personal legacy, that ethical responsibility otherwise is having no plan. What does that do to that legacy? How would it be remembered at the end if something, happens 10 years and you don't have a plan? I also wanted you to think about your money, the financials that benefit you from the firm, right? the other financials that benefit your employees of the firm, right? Everything else that kind of encompasses your law firm is a business, and the financials of that are at risk if you don't have a plan. But if you don't have a plan, you are literally waiting for just things to happen. You're waiting for, one of these risks to pop up and carry forward. And so overall, one of the things that we have to realize, like these risks under a no plan scenario, we have to realize though that no plan, like if you're sitting there today, it is a plan, meaning things will happen to you and your firm for the next few years that will be a plan that will carry forward. You will exit your firm one day. You will sell your firm one day. The question though is the no plan your plan? Is that the one you really have now, or is that the one that you want? Because overall, if it's the plan you have now and you do nothing to change that, you will end up at some point not being the owner of your firm. And so overall, right, as we go forward, we have to decide, is that the plan that you want? So one of the questions that we get a lot of times is, great, but where do I begin? Where is that step for exit strategy or anything else? How do we get started? The first key to selling, right? These are three keys. So the first key to selling your firm on your terms is knowing that any exit strategy starts with knowing the value of what you have and how it could be transferred. Knowing the value, knowing what your law firm's valuation, right, is the first key to selling. And we'll talk about that a little bit more, but overall, a valuation lets you know what is possible, right? It gives you a benchmark, but it should let you know other of these unanswered questions as well. And so it truly is that first key to doing so. And so you may be asking, well, why is knowing your firm's value so important? Evaluation lets you know, as I mentioned, what is possible and when. It gives you, hey, I built this value. Here is my benchmark, right? Here's what I have built. Now I feel proud. I should. I built a business that has value, right? Over and above just my individual efforts. And then it should also let you know deal terms, right? What deal terms are possible? That means purchase price, payment terms, right? These different things. Should it be a seller note? Should it be this? All of those different aspects should be able to come out of a valuation. Law firms value, one of our top questions comes down to three things. Look, I've heard it all before. Certain, people when I do programs or anything else has come up and said, look, my law firm doesn't have value without me, right? I just don't think it does. Every law firm has value. It just depends on where you are on the scale, and how we determine that is these three elements. One, it's your financials, your firm's financials. And what we're looking at in your firm's financials is really, what is the true benefit of ownership to you as the owner, right? What is that true benefit of ownership as we carry that forward? So we're looking at revenues, but we're more importantly looking at net income. We're looking at case values, inventories, everything that comes with it. But we're looking at that financial benefit of ownership that you've created in your business. Second part, we're looking at your intellectual property. Sounds complex, but really what we're getting to is what makes your firm different or unique, right? Why is it different or unique from others in the market? That may just be your location, the community that you serve, the practice area that you have. It may be your marketing, your brand, all these other things that can impact, but at a simple aspect, it is your uniqueness. What makes you different? Hopefully different good. Some of it may be different bad, but that aspect is to look at what your uniqueness and difference is of what you've built and how we can monetize that. And the third piece is your systems, your business systems. And really what we're getting to is, how easy is this firm to move forward without you? Lastly, one of the questions that comes up is, when should I start my plan? Right? Hey, I'm in this position, anything else? And over the years, I can tell you my answers probably changed. When I first started, it's like, hey, everybody should have a plan, within 5 years of retirement. But then over the last, decade, I've learned that you can't predict that timeline. You just can't. You don't know when one of those what if life events is going to hit. So you've heard the saying, right? Overall, like, hey, if I want to plant a tree for shade, when should I plant it? And the answer, 20 years ago. But hey, I didn't plant the tree 20 years ago. When should I plant it? Today, right? And the same thing is the same case for your law firm exit plan, your sale plan. If you haven't started, then today is the day to start it. And why is because transition takes time. Transferring what you've built over, the decades of ownership or practicing as an attorney does take time. And so the second key to selling is having time to successfully implement your plan, to not wait, right? And that means if I'm sitting in a place where I don't have a plan and the no plan is mine, then yes, absolutely. I'm telling you, today is the day to start your plan. All right. So take a breath, right? Right now, hopefully you're like most attorneys, or you probably are like most attorneys when I've done this program before. You're sitting there nodding your head. Hopefully you're taking some notes, right? Motivated, ready to go from that aspect, everything else. And at the end of the day, you're saying, hey, this Len Feisty guy kind of knows what he's talking about, I think, right? But geez, this client email's coming in. Sorry, I've got to do this. Or, hey, that client matter, I'm going to have to really get started on that next week. Anything else? It happens. I know you're busy. We're great multitaskers. And at the end of it, you're probably saying, when I'm ready, I'm going to get started, right? I'm going to contact this guy. I'm going to contact somebody else. I'm going to get my evaluation done. I'm going to really get started on this plan. Well, I have to let you know, I have a mission. I didn't just start the Law Practice Exchange without a mission. I have a mission. And my mission with the Law Practice Exchange and here today is to ensure that every attorney that owns a firm knows they have an option to sell. That two, right? That those attorneys understand that there are successful and proven strategies out there to make their plan a success. They can reuse those, make those plan elements a success for them. And three, to motivate them until, before it's too late, to really take that action before it's too late and carry forward.